Hello everybody, and thank you for clicking on the video. Today I want to talk about something that comes up quite a bit in CHL classes or in my ladies night program, which I teach a self-defense ladies only program the first and third Mondays of the month, is gun selection. What we always tell them is don't buy a gun, try some of ours, borrow a friend's, stuff like that, and get used to what gun you want so you can make an informed decision. But we do give them a couple of criteria to look for. One, we tell them to look for what we call a generic service pistol. That's going to be something like your Glock, your SIG, your MMP, your XD, your FNs, whatever your flavor may be. Make an informed decision on that. Do your research. What do you want to do? Now, the reasons we point people toward that are for like your Glocks. Your Glocks are pretty ubiquitous. They're everywhere. One of the best selling handguns in the United States, which also gives them a big aftermarket accessories market for like holsters, magazines, and stuff like that. Makes it less expensive to get magazines. On top of that, if you get a Glock 17 like this with your 17 round standard magazine, and then you decide to get something that's a little bit easier to carry, the 19, you've got magazines for it. You got more magazines for training or for keeping loaded in a self-defense encounter. But if you decide that this one is a little too big for you, then you can go down to the 26, which I have here. And you could still use the other magazines. This is nothing new in the world. This is nothing that I came up with. It's just something that a lot of people have come up with over the years with a lot of experience. Back in the day, I know a lot of people who carried guns like this. This is a Smith & Wesson 19-2. It's a .357 revolver, and it was pretty common for this to be your service gun or even a carry gun or a self-defense gun. As people are wont to do, they wanted something smaller that worked identical. So when they would train or carry, they had something that would use the same speed loaders, speed strips, or even ammunition. So they went to this, which is Smith & Wesson model 66-2. Very similar gun, it's just a little bit smaller. Still .357 Magnum, still double action, single action. Good gun. Same thing with 1911s and SIGs. I will say that with the 1911s and the SIGs, once you get down to kind of the smaller guns, they don't have magazine interchangeability. But between the .226 and the .228, they're both in 9mm. They use the same magazines, except the big one down. 1911s, same kind of thing. If you use the 5-inch model and then go down to the commander and then go down to the officer can take full-size GI magazines, but the problem is that if you really work it hard or don't have a spacer on it, you can break your ejector. So I do warn people about that. Also, with all the modern or new guns coming out, like the Glock 43, it doesn't have magazine interchangeability with the others, but it is still a very familiar gun if you use Glocks. It's the same sight picture, it has the same trigger mechanism, same disassembly, and that helps people who are just getting into the sport or for self-defense to have guns that are common holsters, common magazines, and common disassembly. So that's a basic down and dirty explanation as to why we recommend people get a generic service gun. Pick your flavor, stick with it. I tell people when you buy any of the main SIGs, the 17, 19, and 26, you're probably going to get the other two. It just makes sense, especially if you're living on a budget. Magazines, holsters, and training commonality are all a good thing. Stay safe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.